Okay, now we're basically moving into the main part of the cabin. This is coming through the back area, and this is what I refer to as the mudroom area. A few things you probably will not see here are the dog bowls, but this right here is where the infamous uh, well is, the wellhead area. So I will pull these carpets back to show you. Great fallout shelter. Great place to hide. And there you can see is a 10-foot deep hole. And at the bottom of the hole, these two lines right here that you see are the two lines I spoke about in the engineering space that come in that feed into the water softener, and one goes to the well water spigot that's on the kitchen sink, and then barely see it down there, but that's the pressurization tank. It's fairly new. And then at the bottom of this, going this direction for another 10 feet, is a second culvert. It's a 5-foot culvert, I believe. And at the back of that will be the well head. And the submersible, of course, is down underneath. Great place to maybe store potatoes. It stays cool down there. Does not freeze in the wintertime, obviously. All right. Okay. And almost back to normal. Okay. Now, stepping into this area, this is where the pantry's at. And I believe I showed you guys this before. Just a note about this. I'm doing my best to get rid of anything that's dated and to try and trim down on all of the backup supplies in here. But I think you will see there's backup paper towels, which can also be reached through. Oh, no, they can't. The toilet paper can. So the paper towels, you have to come this way. Then this door would be to get them from the front side. A few extra bowls and napkins here. Should last you a good while. By the way, this stuff is the only stuff you want to get. It is the best for septic tanks. It's a 2-ply, but all 2-plies are not created equal. This Marathon with the individually wrapped is outstanding. Never had a problem with it in the septic. Never had any backups or anything. You can only get it at a store called Three Bears up here. They have a store in Wasilla. Actually, a couple in Wasilla. And they have one in Eagle River. I don't know if they have any down in the Kenai or not. Anyway, these are your stores, so you're probably going to get most of what you see here. And then you can fill in, get rid of what you feel, what you feel you want to get rid of or keep. All right, so that's the pantry. And this is the mudroom area. Obviously, I'll be taking that. Tilly May stuff. This door, as you can see, they're all censored. This door is actually, I don't know, we tend to use the other door more than this one. But this is what would normally be the main entrance. Hey, Tilly, look, squirrel out there. Go get that squirrel. Go get that squirrel. Get it. Well, I don't know how good of a guard dog she was, but good job, Tilly. Get that squirrel. So this door double bolts the keys. I'll show you where I'm hanging all the keys. Usually stays closed in the winter. You'll see the snow gets pretty high, and so you can elect to shovel all these areas out. I usually just shovel one through the back and come around through the back into the family room and then come into the mud area. Completely up to you. I will tell you that in Alaska, as you probably know, there's a lot of heaving from summer to winter. So by heaving, I'm talking about the ground melt and freezing, so it's swelling and shrinking. So sometimes you'll get sticky doors in the wintertime or the summertime, depending on how they're sticking, and then they won't be after that. So it's one of those things where you'll begin to understand it, but this door, it tends to, I think it's in the wintertime. I mean, right now it isn't. It's pretty fine, but there's a tiny connection up here, but it honestly will go away later on. All right, so moving from here into the laundry area. Got a little bit of laundry out here, but hopefully you don't mind that. I use this as kind of a charging station. Both these work tremendously well. The only thing I'd say to watch on this guy is when you load the front of it, right down in here. It's common for all front load washers. If you don't, if you don't get all of the dirt or the lint or whatever that collects, get it out, then it doesn't necessarily seal well here. So you'll get a little runoff that comes out here. Don't fret, it's not your hoses. We've proven this time and time again. It's not any pump motors leaking or anything like that. It's literally the face. I was so concerned about it that I actually have a replacement liner. This liner piece right here, I have a brand new one in the shop. I think I pointed it out in that video. So if you want to replace it, fine. But when we figured out what the problem was, we just clean it now. None of this will be down here. This is dog food, dog biscuits, dog toys, that kind of stuff. So all of that stuff will be gone, as well as the cookie jar here. I think we may leave that, but that right now just has Tilly's biscuits. Another odd thing is this hose attachment, because sometimes I'll use the hose here as attach a hose here and go out the door and over to my truck, so I'm washing with soft water and not that hard water, because it doesn't leave the scale deposits. Now up here, as you might imagine, this is all your laundry stuff. You'll get that as you go through some old towels and old rags and things like that for cleaning. This right now has the Tilly stuff in it. Again, that'll be next week. That'll be cleared out. All right, grandfather clock. So grandfather clock, easy enough to wind this. And then I just toss this back in the bottom. Usually give this a push. And then I usually check the time, which a little tiny bit off. I have it turned off right now. The different chimes are here. I will tell you that this guy needs a cleaning. The last time I cleaned it, all you have to do is just swing it out. There's a cover on the back, and then the timer the whole clock mechanism comes out on the back side, and it really needs to have someone just sit it down on a bench and clean all the internal parts and oil it back up and put it together, because these two are what run the bells. And like I said, I have the bells off, but sometimes you will turn them on and you'll try to turn them on and they won't necessarily work, the chimes on each side. But again, it just has to do with the back. It just needs oiling and cleaning. All right, this is your main distribution box here. So just know that this one's here. I showed you the one out in the family room. And then you have the one down in the shop. Okay, coming into the bathroom. So obviously this is a remodel. I have all lights on right now, but just want to go over light switches. So this switch here is the fan. Operates right up there. And you might be curious about what these boxes are here. You see the signs, but you can see there's a box behind. Well, if you take those off, you'll see that the breaker panel used to be inside the bathroom. And that's not the code. It's not a place that you put a breaker box. So the breaker box was actually taken out of here, and all of the connectors, this was before I bought it, but were run over to the new breaker box, which is on the exterior. So that's why you see that there. These lights, you can shut the main lights off and just have these lights, or here's where the overhead lights are at. You can shut those off and just have the night light. Now this is how I would normally run it, so that you can see to come in here to wash your hands and do your business. I don't usually run these unless we're kind of going for, somebody's kind of go for a mood thing. And then this one, just as a note, has a dimmer switch. So if you want to run lights down and have more of a kind of a romantic feel, and then you can even add the gold lights to really give it sort of a nice spa type feel. Another nice thing is, especially in the winter, is this guy. So this guy is a towel warmer. You've got the settings right down here. You can either set it, you can turn it on. You can set it for 2 hours. See if I push it on. And then I can go for 2 hours or 4 hours and turn off or off. So completely up to you. Very nice. If you spread these towels out on here, does a nice job. Okay, so remember I was talking about heaving. So heaving also affects these walls. And so there is an adjustment here behind here where you can bring this. There's a pretty good gap here. But there's an adjustment. You can kind of bring these in and out. Because as it heaves, and it's impossible to really stay up with it, you have to kind of move this door in and out. And here you have your teak. There's your film that's on your glass to keep it from getting glass on you. It's behind a screen. If you want to open, you certainly can. You get some air in. This is just it's one of those that lay. You can actually go on the edge and peel it. Just peel it off. You can take it off if you want it off. I never really saw any safety hazard with this because the screen's here anyway, but it's high enough that you're never going to like fall into it or anything or hit it. And even if you did, you'd go through the screen, but then if it did break, it wouldn't come into you because the screen's in the way. However, that is there. Now, this guy has you can push the button. You can see what the current temperature is. it has a battery compartment on the bottom. So this entire unit, if you just grab onto the side of it and lift it up, you can lift it off the wall. And then behind it, you'll see the two lines coming in for hot and cold. This has an impeller inside, so when you're running the water, the impeller will turn and it will power this temperature sensor here. When you're not running, there's a 9-volt battery that you actually have to remove it to change the 9-volt battery. It will power this just by pushing the button. Makes sense? You'll find that this is actually kind of fun. You'll turn it on and you'll have your favorite temperature. So it's just like with the spa. I'm comfortable in 102, but it gets to be 104 and it's just too hot. Well, same with the shower. You have the overheads. You have all these jets. There's many different positions. You can play with it. You have the wand. Okay, so that's about it for the bathroom. Here, laundry chute. Yeah, I found that if I put laundry in there and I wait for 2 weeks, the laundry appears folded on my bed. I'm lying. It's not what happens. Guest bedroom. So all of the lamps that you see inside are all touch. So this is probably the least cabiny room, I would say, because it has walls. It has certain pieces of the walls that are finished on the inside, but I did notice, not immediately, that some of the outer walls are different paneling. So you do have your Roku TV in here, again, tied in to the wireless system, and you've got your smoke alarm up there. This is your linen in here. And then another window out to the greenhouse. I'll turn these off.